I quickly went to work on the data I had, with no way of knowing what I would find. Still, I could feel it in my guts. This wrenching feeling like I was about to discover something completely unexplained about this dead lady that seemed to have come from another time. I think I jinxed myself, because after getting all 10 fingerprints and running them through the AFIS, my discovery left me utterly shocked. Mouth open and not a nerve moving. It read, Michelle Kline, date of birth, 07/05/1972. Date of death, 10/20/1998. This was 2018. And the lady was estimated to have been killed only about 5 to 7 days ago. Thursday, August 9th, 2018. I knew things were going to get messy, and believe me, they did. Nights after the discovery of the body, I had a slow dream where I apparently redid everything I did while on my first night at the building. The only difference was this time, the basement door was open, and no matter how much light I shined into it, it remained pitch black. I woke up with a headache and a very angry look. I hadn't gotten much sleep the night before, and now some sort of noise had woken me up way too early, at 8 in the morning for my shift. At first, I hadn't noticed it was my phone ringing, and so went to town on the source of the noise with a smack, hoping that it would shut it up. Nothing. I eventually took notice and reluctantly, after a while of contemplating picking up the phone, answered the call. It was Sergeant Oakley, and he didn't sound too welcoming. Something was off.
Barkley, wake the hell up! Chief wants to see you now!
It was pretty much custom at this point at the station that whenever Chief Fox wanted to meet someone on short notice with no upcoming occasion at his office, there was nothing good to come of it. And personally, I wasn't really a fan of the chief that wasn't important right now. I rushed through my morning casual preps, got in my uniform, and headed over to the station. Other cops had their eyes on me like I had murdered someone, but I just walked past them, acting oblivious to the issue, and straight towards the chief's office. I knocked on the door while stepping in a little. The chief ushered me in with a stern look.
Barkley, come in and shut the door.
I did as I was told, and as soon as I took my stand in front of his desk, all hell went loose.
Well, Barkley, you shouldn't be surprised why you're here. You got dispatched to the same goddamn house 4 nights in a row and discover a dead body on the 4th night. Ha! And this body had been there for at least 2 of the previous nights. You really fucked up, Barkley. Now I have paperwork out the ass, and you need to answer some questions.
I tried to keep my composure. I was too confused about the whole case, but I knew I wasn't to blame. At least, not from a sane point. Okay, Chief. What questions do you have?
Walk me through the first night. Did you check the windows? The doors?
Yes, I checked the windows, which were all secured, and the front door was locked. There are no other doors except the front door. It is a very old and small farmhouse.
All right. What about the second night? Windows? Door?
Chief, I checked the windows as my report said. The second night the door was unlocked. I followed protocol and made an entry.
And tell me about why you didn't check the room in the basement.
Well, according to Maryland v. Bui, I conducted a person sweep of the home to check for any persons on the premises since the property appeared abandoned. I looked in all areas that a person could potentially hide, and when I got to the room, I saw the lock was rusted, corroded, and covered in cobwebs. There was no way anyone could have hidden in that room and locked themselves inside. I was not searching for a crime or illegal substances. I was only legally allowed to search for persons in that residence.
I know the fucking law, Barkley. Thanks. Did you try the lock?
Well, no. I could see that it would not have opened.
Did you think to try to call one of the male officers to try to open the lock?
Chief, the reason I didn't try to open it wasn't because I thought I was too weak. I didn't try to open it because I could tell it had not been touched in decades.
Well, thanks to your expertise in locks and corrosion, this entire case is fucked up thanks to you.
I'm going to be keeping a close eye on you. Chief Fox, I followed all of our departmental procedures and stayed within the law. If you feel I handled these calls improperly, then please provide me with additional training and procedures that would guide me on how I should have handled it.
Nobody likes a smartass, Barkley. Now start your shift. You have a lot of follow-ups to do now for this case, and can't be doing that shit at night.
As you can see, the chief, in my perspective, and a lot of my other colleagues, was a harsh, sexist, and very annoying boss. It was no mystery that he never liked the idea of a female joining the team, and even less so the idea of being responsible for one. Still, the media and the masses were the defining factors that influenced my stay here. As for how I could handle it, I tried not to pay attention to it. Most of the officers thankfully saw things very differently, and I didn't have many reasons to have to come face to face with the chief. At least, not until this incident. My mind was focused on uncovering the truth about this case, as I too, both by duty and by personal interest, were intrigued by the case. A lot of it didn't make sense, and seeing how abruptly the case was done, I wasn't able to get more details from the medical examining team about the lady. Also, we for some reason hadn't gotten a copy of their report at the station. I decided that would be where I begin my search for answers. I called the chief medical examiner to inquire, and his responses were not too appealing. Hey, it's Officer Barkley from the Patch Lane case. Did you guys finish up the autopsy report?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't see a copy here at the station. Could you send it over?
I'm pretty busy right now, and plus that's my assistant's job.
All right. And how about I just swing by and pick it up?
You can do whatever your little heart desires.
It was obvious that the chief was not as intrigued about the case as I was, but that didn't faze me. I got into my cruiser and off to the lab. Upon reaching, I was received well by the Chief ME's assistant with a bright smile. A young lady with eager eyes, probably recently graduated from college. She asked me how she could be of service, and I inquired about the report on the incident from the farmhouse. She went to work clicking away at her computer, and soon printed out the reports and handed them over to me. I was shocked when I received them. Most cases I've seen or heard of usually had 30 pages worth of work to show for. This incident was just 3. I sat down to study the file, and obviously, my look-through left me utterly unimpressed. Even the assistant noticed. The report was badly written, and several pieces of information were missing from the file. Even the most obvious ones, like the hair color, which I remembered clearly as blonde. On the file, it was denoted as brunette. The cause of death, which one would think they would know by now after performing an autopsy, was also noted as undetermined. Eye color, as well, was undetermined, and manner of death was homicide, with no clue as to how or what. I got up, completely dazed by the disappointing report I had just read, and stomped my way toward the chief medical examiner's office. He didn't look too pleased to see me in person, but well, neither was I meeting him. Chief, is this just a skeleton report from the Patch Lane incident? I showed him the report, asking and hoping, so as skeleton reports were basic round-off of information the cops made about an incident before putting the investigation to an end for another day, or for a thorough investigation. Although that would explain a lot if that was the case, it was still confusing seeing how it basically had been more than 48 hours since the incident was reported. The ME's reply left me with the feeling of needing to throw a punch.
Nope, that's the finished report, sweetheart.
The sweetheart was unbearable, to say the least. Well, why is there no cause of death listed?
Because, thanks to you, the body sat in a locked room for 3 days and left us barely any evidence to work with.
Then, can you explain why the hair color was wrong and about half of these items are listed as undetermined?
If you think you can do better, go right ahead.
I was tired of being blamed for the incident, but that wasn't going to deter me now from my curiosity to figure out what the hell was going on. There were only 5 bodies since this was a small town, but I wasn't one to get afraid of corpses. I pulled out the corpse of the lady from the closet, unzipped the bag, and instantly confirmed my belief that she had blonde hair. Next, I put on some latex gloves and went to work searching for any items I could find in her pockets since she was still dressed even after the autopsy. I struck gold when I came upon a receipt for a gas station that left me feeling quite jealous, as she had purchased 10 gallons of gas for $1.12 per gallon. It all made sense though when I checked the date of this purchase and saw 10/20/1998. It was confusing as to why this lady had even kept such an old receipt. With further research, I found a pencil writing on the back, though I couldn't figure out what it said. I put the item in a bag with the intent of sending it to the PA State Lab for research, in hopes that they would do a better job at figuring out what the writing said. After that, I left the freezer before I turned into a popsicle and headed out for the ME's office. There, I requested more physical items he recovered from the body that could be used to identify the body, or link it to other people, like fingerprints, DNA tests, dental moldings, and more. He gladly handed me a stack of files and bid me farewell with a sarcastic smile and a
Good luck.
I noticed something odd with the work he gave me and asked, "Why are there only 6 fingerprints? Why didn't you do all 10 like normal?" He responded,
Well, why didn't you check the lock on the door while you were there 3 days ago? I don't tell you how to do your job, so why the hell are you going to try to tell me how to do mine?
I knew I had to redo her fingerprints, as the ones he gave me looked messy and unreliable. I hated that he was being such a jerk, and with a case like this, blaming me and not showing much interest. It was different from what I'd known and heard about him. Usually, people say he was very thorough with his job and very reliable. But I guess we would never know. I quickly went to work on the data I had with no way of knowing what I would find. Still, I could feel it in my guts. This wrenching feeling like I was about to discover something completely unexplained about this dead lady that seemed to have come from another time. I think I jinxed myself, because after getting all 10 fingerprints and running them through the AFIS, my discovery left me utterly shocked, mouth open, and not a nerve moving. It read, Michelle Kline, date of birth 07/05/1972, date of death 10/20/1998. This was 2018, and the lady was estimated to have been killed only about 5 to 7 days ago.